Can I identify someone based solely on where they previously worked? We're going to find out today. I have a list of about 37 of my coworkers, roughly half of the coworkers I work with. And I have now a list of previous jobs they all worked at. I will see a previous job and then try to match it to one of my friends. I think this is going to actually be an extremely challenging one because as opposed to favorite movies, favorite music, favorite things, where you previously worked doesn't always say a lot about who you are. Maybe you hated that job. I don't know. It could have been a job for just a couple months. We all try to get by. We all work all sorts of jobs, especially here at Smosh. Every time I hear about a previous job someone had, my response is usually like, what? So I think that's gonna be a lot today. This is going to be a fun journey for both of us. I think we're gonna learn a lot about the people who work at Smosh and what they've done in the past. And thank you to Kiana for coming up with this idea. Kiana, who used to work at Tastemade.
Nice.
All right, let's begin. First up, we have a theater usher and sound guy. So someone was a theater usher and a sound guy at the theater. So this is stage sound. Interesting, okay. I'm assuming this was probably an early job that maybe someone had. People who worked a lot in the theater space, Angela and Chance, I could see them doing this. I do believe Damien was once an usher for a theater. I remember him telling me about it. It was when we were actually roommates that he did usher. Now, the sound part, I don't recall him doing. I don't think it'd be Tommy. It's possible. It's actually entirely possible. I know maybe like with some sketch groups he worked at, maybe if he was doing that as well. I don't think Trevor would have. I'd be kind of surprised there. I'm really looking at Angela, Chance, and Damien for this. And I'm gonna go with Damien because I know for a fact that he was an usher at one point for, I think it was for some sort of award show many years ago. But this is tough. This is gonna be a tough episode. I'm gonna go with Damien. Let's see. Nice! Woo! I remember him telling me about this many years ago. The sound guy threw me off. I don't recall him talking about the sound guy aspect. I distinctly remember him telling me about it. He was like, oh yeah, I got this job as an usher for this thing. And I was like, cool. A lot of this is gonna be a memory game today from all the conversations I've had with people, if I recall the jobs they've talked about. Next up, we have Farmer. There are only two people that I think could potentially be this. I was just looking through the list here, and I'm like, okay, I'm basing this entirely on where people are from, because I feel like Farmer would be maybe when they were like 18 to 20, they were like trying to like find a job and they were like working either on their family's job or like just getting by on work. And I'm like, a lot of people grew up here in California, like near LA, and I'm like, you're probably not becoming a farmer around here. Luke is from Nebraska. So that feels like a job that you would get. The only other one that I'm gonna throw out is maybe Gareth. Now, Gareth lives in South Africa. I just don't know where he lives in South Africa, if that's like potentially like a side job that maybe he's worked before. But look, if someone is from Nebraska, I'm gonna assume at some point you were a farmer, right? I think everybody who lives in Nebraska.
Isn't it from Nebraska, or I thought it was Iowa or something?
Or is it from Iowa? I know,
Where?
I just know that Luke.
Indiana.
Okay, sorry, Luke is from Indiana. Okay, so you're either fighting Stranger Things or you're a farmer. Look, Luke, it's just farmer behavior sometimes from him. So I think the safe bet is to say Luke. I could be so wrong. And whoever it is, I want to ask how this happened, what the stories are, and how you ended up going from being a farmer to working on a YouTube channel. Here we go, Luke. Erin Kuschner. That actually makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That actually makes so much sense. All right. Well, Erin, the former farmer turned artist. Next, we have frozen banana dipper. That's so cool. Ooh, holy crap. This is one of the hardest guesses I've ever done.
So an additional fun fact, the frozen banana stand they worked at actually directly inspired the one from Arrested Development.
They worked at the frozen banana stand in Laguna Beach.
It was Newport Beach.
Oh, Newport Beach. And Newport is in California.
It's down by Orange County.
Okay, so this is Orange County, most likely. Who do I think this could be? Who do I think could be from Orange County or has been around that area? Who gives banana stand energy? You know what I mean? I want to hear their stories from working at the banana stand. Who I feel like would crush this job is Marcus. And I'm not saying that's right. I just feel like Marcus gives that energy, you know? But I don't know if Marcus ever lived near Newport Beach, where I believe the famous banana stand is at. But he gives the energy that he would crush the job. It's more like who do I think would have done well, but maybe who did this job sucked at it. Maybe they were really bad at it. But I think Marcus would crush at this job. I think I could see Peter being good at like being a very chill version of this job. Mike, I could see doing this job when he's young, just being like, hey man, sick, all right, solid. That's my bad Mike impression.
Mike's way.
Mike's way. Yeah, can I get my banana Mike's way? He eats it, and you're just like, oh, thanks. Okay. You know, I'm gonna throw out a weird one. I think Marcus would be the best suited for the job, but who I just kind of picture maybe doing it is also Duran. I don't know why.
Take the shot.
I'm gonna say Matt Duran. Why not? He gives me just that SoCal vibe of just, you know, whatever. Matt Duran. Bailey?
Bailey was working at the banana stand.
Bailey at the banana stand.
She said they used to have to sort bananas by size because you could order bananas, you could order like a small, medium, or large frozen banana.
Wow. Bailey worked at the banana stand. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. She would hand them the banana and she'd be like, great job. All right, moving on. A Warner Brothers tour guide. So there's multiple people who've done this job, and I've been told this is not Arasha who did do this job. Who else was a Warner Brothers tour guide? I feel like I do know this answer, and I am not recalling exactly who it is. Ooh. Was it Emily Rose? Did Emily Rose used to do this? I'm not feeling too confident about guessing these correctly, but what I'm gonna do instead is really focus on who I actually think, out of all the people that I'm guessing today, who I think would have done the job the best. And I think for Warner Brothers tour guide, who I think would be the absolute best is Emily Rose. Emily Rose, such a great personality. She's really good at explaining things. She is a director. And she is genuinely a huge nerd, in that probably most of the movies that they were exploring the sets of, she would know a lot about them. She's very excited about life. I think Emily Rose would crush this. Once again, I think Marcus would crush this. We go through every job and I'm like, you know what, physicist Marcus, I think he would do great. I think Selena would have been really good for this too. But I don't think Selena did do this. I could see Chloe having been a Warner Brothers tour guide as well.
Wait, Arasha wasn't Warner Brothers. Arasha was Universal.
You're right. Arasha was a Universal tour guide. Mm-hmm. So who was a Warner Brothers tour guide? I don't know where Sarah previously worked, but I think that could be good. Could also be Natalie. This one could be anybody, really. Like when you work in LA, like I feel like I've met a few people who've done this type of work before. Because if you work in production, these kind of jobs coincide. I'll go with, I also could picture Caroline. I just don't know where she worked before this as well. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pick the person I think would crush this. So I'm gonna go with either Selena or Emily Rose Jacobson. I'm gonna go with Emily Rose. Why not? Liz. Damn. You know what threw me off is that Liz was talking about one of her other previous jobs recently, which I'm not going to say in case she doesn't want to be public, but so I was thrown off because I was thinking about, I wasn't thinking about that.
Wait, go to the last slide.
It's literally her in the photo, huh?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking close enough. All right, next. We have escape room actor. Oh, sick. Ooh, escape room actor.
If I'm not mistaken, they were doing stuff on the call, like, you would pick up a phone and, like, they would, like, give you hints and stuff like that, too.
Ooh, okay.
I think they were doing a lot of different things.
So, we have an escape room actor. Not sure about the exact specifics, because I know there's a lot of different roles that can take on. Oh, man. Okay, so I don't think it's Amanda. I think Amanda would have talked about this at some point on Smosh Mouth, and we never have heard her talk about this, I don't believe.
Do you know any of Amanda's past jobs?
Mohawk Bend, newscaster.
What's Mohawk Bend?
She was a waitress at Mohawk Bend for like 7 years. I'm surprised whoever this is hasn't talked more about this. I'm kind of leaning down between Chance and Arasha. I think I'm gonna go with Arasha on this one. I don't know. I think Arasha would crush this. I think Arasha's really good. I mean, Chance would, any of the cast would crush this. But I'm gonna go with Arasha. Why not? Angela, she's never told me about this.
No, she never told me. So because Angela was like, I've talked about most of mine, and I was really prodding at her, and she was like, wait, I did this for a little bit. She has worked a lot of little gigs.
Angela has worked so many jobs over the years, as actors do. So I guess this is one of the things that she has not talked about. So, hey, stay tuned for the next Smosh Mouth with Angela. I'm gonna ask her about this because I wrote a whole escape room sketch and she never brought this up. Maybe she did and I completely forgot. Anyways, all right. Imagine getting in an escape room and Angela's the one working it. Scary. Disney World lifeguard. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. Disney World lifeguard means they lived in Florida. So Tommy comes to mind, because I know Tommy's from Florida. Spencer, you're not on this list. Who else is from Florida? Unless it was like a summer thing.
It was a summer thing.
Oh, okay. So I've been informed this was a summer job. So they didn't necessarily live in Florida. They went down in the summer to work at Disney World. It still tells me it's Eastern Hemisphere of the United States, because you wouldn't fly from, I wouldn't think you'd fly from the West all the way to Disney World to be a lifeguard.
Do we not have any like Disney water parks out here?
I don't think we have a Disney water park. We just have Six Flags water parks. What if it was Gareth and he flew from South Africa to come and be a lifeguard at Disney World? Okay.
Disney World Johannesburg.
Why am I getting Selena energy from this? I don't think she's ever talked about being a lifeguard. But it just feels like it's a thing. I don't know. I'm gonna throw out Selena. It's not Selena. She's never mentioned this. This is such a fun story. I can't wait to talk to this person about being a lifeguard at Disney World. I can't imagine the shit they saw. Like truly. You know, I'm gonna switch it up. I'll say Natalie. Why not? Switch it from Selena. Watch it be Selena. Whatever. I'm saying Natalie. Erica.
Yeah. She did the Disney college program.
Wow. I didn't know Erica could swim. Never seen it.
She's pretty good.
Wow, okay, I guess you gotta be.
Yeah.
Did she have to save anybody?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No, she does have crazy stories.
Erica's got some crazy stories. So keep that in mind when you're looking at our Smosh Instagram posts and TikToks, that the person behind all of that has saved lives. Something to think about. Next, we have rock climbing instructor. Okay, I think I can get this. Who gives rock climbing energy? I'm gonna go through the list and who I think gives rock climbing energy. All right, Abby from the art team, rock climbing energy. Matt Duran, big rock climbing energy. None of the cast give rock climbing energy.
I could see Chance rock climbing.
I could see Chance rock climbing, but I don't think he does.
I used to be obsessed with rock climbing as a kid.
You were obsessed with rock climbing, Spencer?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I loved climbing things.
You loved climbing things?
Yeah.
Why'd you stop?
Just got older.
Hey man, you should start climbing things again.
You're right. That corporate ladder.
Get a ladder out. Mike kind of does. Once again, Marcus. Yeah. I see it. Luke, no. Gareth, rock climbing energy. Gareth's got rock climbing build, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know? I'm kind of whittling this down to Matt Duran or Gareth. And I'm gonna go with Matt Duran. It's just what popped into my head first. I'm gonna stick with it. Boom. Mallory!
Yep. No, it was a
blown away.
I was like, I was almost kind of intentionally including, because we got a lot of submissions for this, but like that, to me, that one felt so
antithetical.
Crazy. Yeah. I'm like, she's not giving rock climbing instructor energy.
The only reason this throws me off is because I've met so many rock climbers, and I feel like I get a certain vibe from them, right? And Mallory is just not that vibe. Obviously, anybody can be doing anything, but I'm just now laughing at the thought of Mallory just kind of like rock climbing, just be like, okay, so, yeah, you're doing great. Okay, oh, you fell. Okay, Slay. No, okay, cool. I want to hear this story. I need to ask her about this. Probably some crazy stories there. I wonder how long she did it for.
I don't know. Maybe she's still doing it. Side hustle.
We need to put up, I need to test this. We need to put some like rocks on a wall and be like, oh, what do you think about that? And then she just climbs it immediately. This is why Mallory's always up in high places.
What?
You know, you just walk into a room and she's up in the rafters. You're like, how'd you get up there? It makes a lot of sense. Next. This is so hard.
Yeah, it is.
These jobs are throwing me off.
I think to me, it's just like having put it together, I'm like, oh, all these make sense. I mean, with the exception of that one. But this one, like, after this one, you'd be like, oh, this one makes sense.
Okay. Sub guy at Cousins Subs. All right, so they're saying they're a guy. Where is Cousins Subs at? Is that an East Coast? Because I've never heard of Cousins Subs. Is this where they worked in the Bear?
100 locations in Wisconsin and Indiana.
Okay. Wisconsin and Indiana. Emily Parker is from Wisconsin, and Luke is from Indiana. This is tough. The vibe I get, the way they wrote, did they submit it as sub guy?
Yeah.
Okay. The way that this is, I'm not going off the job. That's not helping me anymore. But it's being like, that was a sub guy at Cousin Subs. That sounds like Luke saying that. So I'm gonna say Luke. But if it's Emily Parker, I'm gonna climb a wall. Luke. Mike!
Mike's way.
Mike's way!
He got fired for doing everything Mike's way.
Mike got fired from Cousin Subs from doing it Mike's way. Damn it, Mike.
Can't you see him as a sub guy?
I can see Mike as a sub
at
guy.
Cousin Subs.
I wonder how old he was when he was a sub guy, you know? Anyways, all right, next. Okay, they worked at BuzzFeed. Oh, okay, finally, we get like one that I think I might be able to suss this out.
On their gaming show, too.
Okay, so they worked on a gaming show at BuzzFeed. I think, for some reason, I think it was either, oh, damn, it could be, it's an editor, and I'm kind of for some reason, I'm like, I don't think it's Andre. Then it's probably gonna be Andre. I'm gonna go with Rain on this one, but watch it be Andre, and I'm gonna be so mad. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Andre worked for BuzzFeed. Neat. Moving on. Abercrombie and Fitch. Oh man. I'm now picturing them as one of the dudes out front who used to be shirtless. I don't, if you're too young, you don't recall that Abercrombie & Fitch back in the 90s would always have two shirtless guys standing outside of the store in jeans, just kind of there. They didn't serve any purpose. If you asked them a question about any of the clothing or anything, they'd be like, I have no idea. I'm just here to stand here. Okay, who worked at Abercrombie & Fitch? Who didn't, you know what I mean? I think it's either Trevor or Chance. I'm gonna go with Trevor. Trevor gives Abercrombie & Fitch energy. I think that's a compliment. And also, Trevor wears a lot of Abercrombie & Fitch. And that, to me, says that, like, he worked there and he knows the quality of the clothes, and he's like, yeah, like, I know it, so I'm gonna rock it. I've seen Chance wear some Abercrombie & Fitch, but I see Trevor wear, like, I've definitely clocked Trevor wearing Abercrombie & Fitch. I'm gonna say Trevor. Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
Isn't that crazy, though?
What?
You think you know someone.
You think you know. God, dang it.
Can you imagine Olivia working there?
I actually absolutely can. I think Olivia, I can totally picture like a teenage Olivia working at an Abercrombie. For some reason, I was just picturing like a Hollister.
Yeah.
You know, which is same vibes, but just, no, this makes a lot of sense. I just picked the wrong person. Next, a mushroom farmer.
That's a real picture of mushrooms.
Yeah.
That they farmed, sorry.
Okay, guys, here's what's crazy. I'm finally gonna get this because I was talking to one of my coworkers about this and they were talking about how this is their massive hobby and actually their dream job to run a mushroom farm. So if it's someone else, great, we have multiple. But Chloe, I know, is very passionate about mushroom farming, and I was talking to them about mushroom farming, and she was like, we were talking about shiitake mushrooms and how hard those are to grow, but then they were talking about like, they've shown me photos similar to this. Chloe, finally. Some pink oysters.
Is that what those are called?
I think.
Whoa.
Maybe I'm wrong.
What's your favorite mushroom?
My favorite mushrooms are probably shiitake, but I love mushrooms. I am obsessed with mushrooms.
You ever play Mario?
Yeah, and that's why I relate to Mario so much. No, I truly love mushrooms so much. I love to buy a big variety of them, and I bake them all. I love to, so you can saute them. I think mushrooms are just so delicious.
Like a sauteed portobello?
Oh my God. A portobello burger, honestly, rocks so much. All right, next. Bodybuilder stage oiler? What?
Who would slay this?
Who would slay this?
No, I just...
Oh my God. What the f?
We should have one of these for Reddit stories.
Holy shit. Oh my God. What the f? No, there's no version of this that isn't insane.
Yeah, correct.
No matter who did this, this is insane. Oh my God, the stories that I'm about to hear after I am done with this, I'm gonna be surprised by anybody. This is so much fun lore building that we get to enjoy together. I don't know why Gareth comes to mind. I'm just like Gareth in South Africa, oiling up bodybuilders. I think that's a very funny version of this. Peter is, I'm thinking, what's the funniest version?
What is the funniest is a great angle.
Peter is really funny, where he's just like, okay, and all right, and okay, and all right, there you go. I'm gonna say Gareth. I think it's funny. I think it's funny to say Gareth. That's it. Natalie!
Yep.
I gotta ask Natalie about what that was like.
Let's tell those stories.
Let's tell those stories. I also am curious what competitions it was, because there's a lot of different bodybuilding, right? Was it women's bodybuilding? Was it men's bodybuilding? Was it the the Arnold Classic? Was it the free stage? Because there's ones where it's like, oh, steroids fully allowed, where these guys are like 500 pounds.
Which one would you want to work on?
Probably that one, because that's a lot more work, more hours. No, that's gotta be insane. I can't imagine the characters that she met. All right, next. A vet clinic assistant. Aw, okay. Helping out with animals. This is very sweet. I am gonna say, I'm gonna go with a quick guess on this one, just to like, I'm gonna say Sarah. Throwing it out there. I've already got one guess correct. Let's try to get two. Sarah. Ollie. You were right there.
They're right there.
Finally,
Ollie,
someone who's
tell me
actually here.
stories.
You were a vet clinic assistant.
At Disney
How
World.
old were you when you were doing that, Ollie?
I was like in high school.
Really?
Yeah, like 16, 17.
Oh, interesting. Wow. That's a high pressure job for that age.
Yeah, I quit for a very traumatic reason.
I'm sure. How long did you work there?
Like 2 years.
You worked as a vet clinic assistant for 2 years. Yeah, that I'm sure was really hard. I wanted to be a vet. That was the first job that I ever wanted as a kid, was to be a veterinarian. And then I think as I got older, like as my brain started to develop, I was like, oh, that's going to be so hard. That's not the good stuff. It's not like, oh, I get to cuddle with animals. It's like, no, you're witnessing them in their most painful moments. And I'm just like, ooh. Well, hey, thanks for the good work that you did. I'm doing about as good as I did with fridges right now. Next. Preschool TA. Ooh, okay. A preschool TA. Who do I think would crush this job? I think Selena would crush this job. I could see Sarah working this job. Kiana would really do well at this. Kiana's such a great teacher. I'm doing some quick guesses here just because Emily Rose, I could see also crushing this. Who do I think did this? Could be anybody. Everybody at Smosh is so responsible and very smart. I'm gonna say Selena. Why not? Matt Duran, you're supposed to be rock climbing. I thought you were rock climbing and running a banana stand. But here you are, teaching children. Dang it. All right. That's why there's so many good assistant editors out there, because he was teaching them in preschool.
Teacher's assistant editor.
Teacher's assistant editor. Whoa, got him. Next, a cake decorator at Dog Bakery. Okay. Oh, okay, here's the thing. Who are the bakers that I have on this list?
Luke.
That was really clever, man. You get one.
Tim.
He's not on the list. Are they related? Okay, there's 2 bakers on this list. There's Trevor, who has a degree in baking, but someone who is constantly, on a near weekly basis, bringing in sweet treats for the office is Rain. There's a couple people, Courtney from art team, but Courtney's not on this list. So I'm actually gonna go with Rain on this one. It's between Rain and Trevor that I think could crush this job. I'm gonna say Rain. Those are the 2 that I think that I know would do well at decorating baked goods, but I don't know who it could have actually have been, and if they were actually good at it. But I'm gonna say Rain. Emily Parker, come on.
Emily submitted like 5 jobs.
She sure did.
Okay.
But each one was on a separate form, so we got like a graph, and it's like everyone had submitted one, and then for some reason there was like a 5 on the graph. I don't know why it filled
Emily
out that
Parker
way.
submitted 5 different jobs. Okay.
I think it was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Well, you have to know a lot of things to work on Bit City. That's what I've learned. All right. Next. Animal shelter tech. We have so many people who worked with animals.
Yeah.
Very sweet. Okay. Oh, another tough job. I'll go with, I'm gonna throw out a weird one. Caroline. Why not? Sarah. Dang it! That was also in my head. There.
Wait, go back, look, it's the zoomed in picture. Yep.
There it is. Dun, dun, dun. All right, next. Minecraft roleplay YouTuber? What? Okay. Oh, what?
And that is actual close-up of one of their thumbnails.
Okay. Now, who I think this reminds me of, that looks like, is Rain. And I feel like someone who's good at editing, I'd believe, has been a YouTuber before. But I've never heard Rain talk about Minecraft. Oh, it could also be Alyssa. Alyssa, actually. That looks like Alyssa. I mean, it's a sprite, so it looks like I don't know who. I'm just going off the hair color a little bit more. Oh, Emily Rose. No. I know Emily Rose has made YouTube videos, like is so experienced with YouTube. Everybody who works here is experienced with YouTube. Nicole.
This could be truly so many people.
This could literally be. I wouldn't be surprised if after this video, a bunch of people are like, oh, I did that too. I'm between Alyssa, Emily Rose, Rain, and Nicole. I'll go with Alyssa, why not? Bam. Abby. I was never gonna guess Abby. Wow.
No, but like, you know, I went and I tracked down, like, you know, they were active in the community.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I've not, to be honest, I've not had many conversations with Abby. You know, the art team is constantly moving and grinding here at Smosh, so I feel like they never have a free moment to chat. So I didn't know this. All right, Abby, roleplay YouTuber. Roleplay Minecraft YouTuber. A lot of stories I want to hear there. What was happening in that Minecraft world? I wonder what kind of like it's
like,
so,
you know, it's like storytelling within Minecraft. Like,
no, you really believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I wonder if they still do it.
I don't think
like
so.
if they're still playing Minecraft.
Oh, maybe.
All right. Next, Burger Lounge. Oh, and I'm so hungry. I'm getting Tommy vibes. Tommy, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
I feel like Tommy has talked about working at Burger Lounge.
I had no idea.
I feel like I recall that.
I don't think Tom even said anything else. I think he just said Burger Lounge.
Yeah, I believe like at some point in the past 8 years, he's talked about working at Burger Lounge.
Have you ever been to Burger
You know what I
Lounge?
think it was? We had a Burger Lounge sort of close to Defy, and Tommy was like, I can't eat Burger Lounge ever because I worked there, and now it's gross to me. Like from probably having too many burgers when you work there.
Too many burgers. No such thing.
I believe that's the convo I had. I need to talk to him again. Next, a pharmacy clerk. Okay, finally, I can guess this. Courtney submitted their most obvious one. They worked at a pharmacy leading up to working at Smosh, but they worked many other jobs. But if it's not Courtney, this is a job that Courtney has done. Show me Courtney. Nice.
There you go.
Keeping that streak. I kept my Damien and Courtney streaks alive.
Yeah.
Out of everything, I've kept those alive. Next, America's Got Talent Extreme. Whoa. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this must be, how recent is this show?
Oh, it was only in the year of 2022.
Only in the year of 2022 was America's Got Talent Extreme. I am picking up, okay, I'm picking up Caroline or Anders. Ooh, Anders could be Anders. Ooh, it's Anders or Caroline. I'm gonna go with Anders. Nicole. Wait, I thought Nicole was working at Pressalike by that point. Damn it. And there they are.
She was doing flips.
Yeah, I can't believe Nicole auditioned.
Yeah, what if she competed?
I can't believe Nicole did magic tricks on stage. I can't believe Nicole sang that one song, I Dreamed a Dream, and it became... All right, next. Disney cast member. Wait, what?
Oh.
Who was a Disney cast member? Who was a Disney cast member?
So like a cast member at the park.
Like who worked at Disneyland?
Yeah. Who's Disney coded?
Who's Disney coded? I don't think they'd be Disney coded. I don't think they necessarily have to be Disney coded to have worked at Disneyland. Because I would say out of everyone, nobody's Disney coded, but I'm like, if they lived near Disneyland, like it's a job that they could have worked for a while.
So I will say, picture related. They worked at Haunted Mansion.
So this person worked at Haunted Mansion.
Who's Haunted Mansion coded?
Rain and Alyssa both are a little bit Haunted Mansion coded. I'm gonna go with Alyssa. I think Alyssa or Rain would both crush this job, but I'm gonna go with Alyssa. Our editing team, like editors have like a in a cool way, like a dark vibe to them, you know? Like
Sure.
they like darkness. They work in darkness. They work in mysterious ways. Nobody knows how editing works, except for them. Alyssa, nice, wow. And she was one of the ghosts the whole time.
I don't know where is that on the ride? Like, is that?
That looks like it's, I mean, I'm assuming that during working hours, they were able to, I guess, explore the set, because that looks like the organ down on the ballroom floor, which, yeah, she probably went over and visited that. I have so many questions. I wonder what this was like too. I wonder how many ashes she had to help clean up.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing. And look, they were about to have to clean that up, because look at all the ashes that people spread on that piano. All right, next. Security window at DA's office. Whoa. Whoa, who was a security guard?
I'll give you this. Who would be the funniest possible person to be there?
The funniest possible security window at a district attorney's office would probably be Peter or Audrey. Nate would be funny. Marcus would be hilarious. He's just like, hey, I'm so sorry, you're gonna have to leave. Yeah, I'm really sorry, you gotta go. Kiana would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Kiana would be, but she'd be eating up that, no, is Kiana as big into true crime? I don't think so. No, I don't think Kiana would like that. Amanda would love that job. Amanda would love that job too much. You'd roll up and Amanda would be like, what are you in for? What are you doing?
She's Joe.
Amanda is one step away from being Joe. I'm gonna go with Chance. Has she talked about this?
Not to me.
She has to have talked about this on Smosh Mouth at some point. Amanda has to have talked about being a security guard for a district attorney. What?
No, I was, yeah, it's crazy.
What the
Is that not the funniest
It's the funniest. It actually makes sense. I was like, she would eat that job up.
Yeah.
Holy shit. We have so much to talk about after this.
She'd be like, what's tea?
Yeah. All right, what's going on here? Next. Burger Slinger. We have a burger lounge and a burger slinger.
Were you slinging or lounging?
At Monty's Good Burger. Who was a burger slinger?
And
Who was slinging burgers?
This is the location they slung at.
And this is the location. Where, may I ask, is this located?
Is it in Highland Park?
I'm gonna throw out, I haven't thrown him out there and he's on this list. I'm gonna say Nate. Why not?
Hey, Peter.
Peter got away from me. He got away. You got away, Peter.
Can't you kind of see him in a little apron?
We need to have Peter and Tommy face off and who can make a better burger.
Monty's is all plant-based, right?
Yeah.
Is it a vegan burger
It's a
joint?
vegan burger place.
Whoa, okay. All right. Next. What if I was like, gross? Camp counselor. Who on this list wouldn't be a great camp counselor?
No, that's a good, hey, start there.
Let's start here. Okay, Anders, I think you'd make a great camp counselor, Anders. I feel like you'd be the reliable, you would be the camp counselor who's like, all right, guys, let's follow the rules, let's do the cool thing, you're keeping things, to put together. Arasha does give camp counselor energy, but not in a way that I trust. Not in a way that I trust. She'd do the job well, but I think she's getting into so much drama with the other camp counselors throughout the year. Audrey would be a great camp counselor. Caroline gives definite camp counselor energy.
Yeah.
Is this crew?
Yep.
Caroline, I would say out of everybody gives the most camp counselor energy. Selena, great camp counselor energy. Emily Rose, great camp counselor. Nate, of course, he's working HR. I mean, that's...
I think there's something a little kind of camp counselor-y about working at Smosh, maybe.
Smosh is camp counselor coded. I mean, we're theater kid. Theater kid and camp counselor, they are one and the same, right? In that you're kind of cringe, you're very eccentric, and they all sleep with each other. I'm gonna go with Caroline. Caroline gives so much camp counselor energy, but it could be so many people here. But I'm gonna say Caroline.
Nice.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
She was showing that lighter to those kids.
She's like, check it out. You guys want to try cigarettes? She doesn't even smoke. She's just giving them to
She's like,
kids.
you guys would look so cool with these.
Yeah. Next, the Bride of Okay, I need more details. The Bride of Frankenstein?
Bride of Frankenstein.
Like they were in a play, or
They were
in
the Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, at Horror Nights?
Yeah.
Okay, they're a Horror Nights scare person, right?
They were the Bride of Frankenstein.
All right. Okay. There's two people who I would say I could see doing this, and it's Emily Rose and Arasha. Like, who left do we have that are like performers, or like wanted to be a performer, or are performing, or were into theater? And Emily Rose, definitely, and Arasha, obviously, as a performer. The rest on this list, I don't see doing that. Can you imagine Kiana?
That'd be funny as hell.
Kiana would be like, F no. All right, it has to be Arasha. It has to be. Whoa!
Is that sick?
Holy shit! Why are people keeping all these secrets?
I know.
Come on. Talk about this stuff.
No, I think that's kind of the appeal of this video is like, it is going to start like,
Oh, this is
yeah.
so many conversations after this. Let's get some artwork of Arasha as Bride of Frankenstein. We need so much of that.
yeah.
Next, host and barista. Well, that's a photo of Luke. Nice. Guys, you got him. That's actually Luke and Tim combined. Host and barista. Both Trevor and Chance give host and barista vibes. They both do well at that. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them have been a host and barista. But I'll go with Chance on this, but I'm not too surprised. I'm not gonna even be that bummed when I'm wrong. Show me Chance, but it's probably Trevor, but show me Chance. Yeah.
Can you imagine barista Trevor?
I can 100%
Yeah.
picture barista Trevor.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it makes so much sense. But so does Chance. I think they both would kill that job. All right, now I'm gonna go up to Trevor and be like, hey, make me a latte. And I'm gonna judge it. I'm gonna see how good.
Yesterday.
Do you know where at?
No.
I wonder where. I wonder if it was like an indie coffee shop. Next, horseback instructor. Whoa. I'm gonna go with a quick guess. There's only one person who's from Texas on this list. I'm gonna go with Emily Rose. But, like, there's the person who wears cowboy boots, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I would assume you know how to ride a horse. And then if you know how to ride a horse, you would teach other people how to ride a horse. I'm gonna say Emily Rose. Anders? Dude,
A man of 1,000 jobs.
what the f, man? Anders, I've talked to you about so many jobs that you've worked at, but I've not heard about this. How long were you doing that?
Years, like 10 years.
You were a horseback instructor for 10 years?
I did horseback riding for 10 years and then instructed like half of it.
Holy shit.
That's sick.
Which style do you prefer? Western style, or what are the two styles? It's like
English Western.
English and Western?
English.
You're an English style horse rider.
Hello.
Hello, governor. Wow. That's so sick. Where were you doing that?
Maryland.
Maryland. Wow. Next, we have a murder mystery dinner actor. I think, ooh, a dinner actor.
They were one of the eaters.
I'm gonna say Emily Rose. She would crush this. I think she would crush this. I also think this could be Rain. Emily Rose. Nice!
Nice.
Nice! She probably had so much fun doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Next, a movie trivia show producer.
Do you recognize who that is in the
That's
picture?
That's Emily Rose.
Yeah. So it's a little serendipitous.
So wait, this is not Emily Rose.
No.
So who worked with Emily Rose before working here with Emily Rose?
Scott did.
Okay.
That's not Scott. So don't even think about it.
And they were a producer. Oh, well, maybe it was Marcus. Like, it could be Marcus. Maybe it was. Did Luke work with? But Luke wasn't a producer outside of here, was he? I'm gonna say Marcus. Rain.
Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea they worked together before here.
I don't think they crossed paths.
They didn't even cross paths. It just so happened.
Yeah, they, like, Rain produced the show
Wow.
and Emily guested on it.
That's so funny. Wow. I mean, small town.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Middle school football coach. No way.
Check that picture.
Holy shit. Who was coaching football? All right, now is this a trick? Is it football like soccer?
No.
Who even played football? Okay, so it's not Gareth. That's South Africa. They're not doing middle school football like that. I guess Luke, maybe Indiana. It's or Nate. I could see it being Marcus because Marcus is very sporty. Luke, it could have just been a thing at some point. But Luke's never talked about football. But Nate is a fan of football. Enough that I would say Nate. I'm gonna go with Nate. Marcus. Damn. I would have guessed soccer more quickly.
Yeah.
But Marcus is also a football fan. It makes sense. Nah, Marcus makes a lot of sense.
Marcus feels like the perfect middle school football coach.
Yeah, for sure. I know Nate also is into football. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. A mall photographer.
Take the picture.
Yeah. Did they submit this picture?
No.
Selena. Kiana! I was thinking Kiana a little bit, but that's so funny.
Their names do sound similar.
I just spoke wrong. That's so funny. Did she work at like Sears?
I don't know exactly.
Or not Sears, where is it?
Yeah, like somewhere like a Sears.
Yeah,
Like a
that's so funny,
Macy's
dude.
or-
That's so funny. All right, next. A Diablo 4 brand marketing coordinator. I'm gonna go with Audrey on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Audrey. I don't know much about Audrey's previous work, but it lines up. Nice.
Yeah.
I know Audrey, the facts that I know is like the line of work they're in. They work in the numbers of YouTube, and they're a big gamer. They love gaming. I was very impressed by their favorite games. So this tracks. All right, next. Karate instructor. Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei! I'm gonna go with Gareth. Nice.
Yeah.
Gareth, I was like, oh, rock climbing build, but also karate build.
No, agreed.
Like, Gareth has one of those builds where you're just kind of like, oh, unassuming guy, and I'm like, no, he actually is probably so strong. Like, I think he would kill you in one punch. One Punch Man. Next, a corporate holiday party MC. The options we have left are Chance, Luke, Nate, and Selena. The funniest version of this is Luke. All right, and yeah, okay, so this is going pretty good. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Nate, because Nate works HR. I could see this being a kind of like adjacent job as like they're working in the corporate world. Maybe? I also think it's between Selena and Nate.
The MC to HR pipeline.
Yeah, MC to HR pipeline. But here's the thing. Nate works HR, which is a corporate job, but Nate also, I know, is big into music.
Yeah.
So he's got the charisma to work in front of a crowd, so he'd be willing to do that. I could see this being something that was offered to him somewhere along the way as he was working up, the corporate ladder.
He was working as an MC and they offered him HR.
Yeah. Hey, man, you should do HR. I'm gonna go with Nate. Selena.
Yeah.
Damn it. Also, tracks. I think Selena would crush that. Next, Arby's, Luke. Finally, something that makes sense. I don't know why.
No, I can see it.
It just tracks. I really love Arby's.
Do you really?
I do unironically love Arby's. I haven't had it in over a decade.
Got the meats.
Because there's not that many in LA, but I love Arby's.
That one in Hollywood looked really cool.
I know,
The big sign.
sick. Oh, I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah, me too.
We do lunch right after we're done filming this, so I need to get this over with. Next, we have a camp counselor, Jewish Christian theater.
They were a Jewish camp counselor, a Christian camp counselor, and a theater camp counselor.
They were a Jewish camp counselor, a Christian camp counselor.
Feels wrong to be able to do both.
All three.
Hey,
Yeah.
feels
All
up.
three, yeah.
All right, so I have Chance and Nate. I'm gonna go with Chance on this. I know, because I know from Smosh Mouth, Chance was out about the church. So being a Christian camp counselor, but I think maybe he worked a bunch of different ones, and theater, so Chance. Nice.
Yeah.
And now we get to see where our HR representative previously worked. A party planner and children's mascot. This looks like it's from a true crime documentary.
So this is a real picture.
That is Nate inside there.
So here's the other rub. That is not actually Nate. Nate's mom took this picture thinking that was Nate.
What we have is Nate's mom took a photo of a random child in a mascot costume.
Because she thought it was Nate working that day.
And she thought it was Nate. Oh, it was just a different kid working that day.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how old Nate was when he was doing this job. Was he 10?
I don't know.
What the hell? Was this legal? All right. That's not Nate, but Nate also did that. Yeah. All right. I may not have done well today, but I did learn a lot, and so did you. Boy, the stories that we now are gonna find out in the coming months on our podcasts, because, oh my God, the type of stuff people did. I have so many questions. I need to ask Arasha what Frankenstein is like. Is he a cool guy? I need to know. In the comments down below, let us know your weirdest and wildest jobs. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.